Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 69th episode of PandTha Talks. And that weird noise in the background is Will, slowly functioning. Slowly trying to function. He's been awake for approximately 20 minutes at this
Listen,
point.
man, it's not my fault I fell back asleep, okay?
Yeah, we don't judge you, Will. Don't worry.
Screw you.
So, we've got a few interesting topics this week. The first one being about how most gaming media companies have recently been bought out by IGN. Which, really adds to the idea of how trustworthy these articles are, considering they all have backers. The second topic we have to talk about this week is regarding apparently, from what I have been reading online, someone who is well known to be a Xbox insider who typically gives correct information, has announced that without a doubt, Steam will be on Xbox, on the next Xbox.
That's weird.
Yeah, I thought the same.
That's really weird.
After that, we'll be going through a reader's feature of why the people in charge of gaming don't like video games, which we've been saying for a hell of a long time. After that, we'll be going on to Hellblade, how it's recently returned, the sequel, and how that's actually turned out and how things have gone in regards to that.
Psychosis.
I know, right? Best thing ever. And finally, we'll be discussing why Fallout fans are begging Bethesda to stop releasing updates.
What, you mean the 2.3 kilobyte updates they keep releasing?
Oh yeah, that keeps murdering Fallout 4 script extender and mods. Yeah, that's what I mean. Well,
Kind of why I've just not bothered playing it, to be honest, at the minute.
same here. But without any further, let's go and get straight into it. I definitely didn't just jumble over every single word I have. So,
It's alright, we all understand you've got 69 on your head.
Yeah, obviously, mate. We have gone through 68 episodes and we've got to this point. And it's supposed to be the whole jokey episode. Honestly, it's just going to be torture if all the articles are like this, though.
Add this.
Yeah. I mean, Will pointed this out. This isn't genuinely advertisement for something called Subtle Sage. There is nothing fucking subtle about this advertisement.
Number 806, man. Don't forget it.
Yeah. So we have advert, article,
The little box.
actual access point. Metro, sort your shit out. So, I think this is genuine insanity. IGN buys
Zoom in
Eurogamer.
on the page to like just the middle part.
Oh yeah, but then the text will be like trillions of times bigger.
I mean, you need glasses, so it probably would help you.
I'm still wearing glasses. Leave me alone. IGN buys Eurogamer, VG247, and Rock Paper Shotgun. Layoffs have already started.
He doesn't read that as 24/7. What's wrong with you, man?
I read in shorter numbers for some reason.
No, illegal.
No, it's not.
We'll be discussing your departure from this group.
Good luck. I'm the one that does everything and has all the passwords.
Mutiny!
The company that owns IGN now also owns British company Gamer Network and sites including GameIndustry.biz and Dicebreaker. So that's another two on top of the ones officially stated in the title.
Just read Dicebreaker or something else, to be honest.
I can bet you did. There is one simple reason why major acquisitions should never be celebrated. Consolidation. There are dozens of reasons why larger companies swallowing up smaller ones is bad for consumers. But the reason they're bad for employees is that they always lead to layoffs. due to job duplication and an immediate need to cut costs after the purchase itself. We've seen that recently with Xbox and Bethesda, and now it's happening almost instantaneously with IGN's acquisition of the Gamer Network Group. The websites that include such influential sites such as Eurogamer, GameIndustry.biz, Rock Paper Shotgun, and VG247. Happy?
No, because you said 247. What's wrong with you?
I shortened things.
No, it's just because it's 247. It just automatically appears to my brain as 24/7.
Yeah, there's no slash there, mate.
I don't care.
Can you tell someone didn't get much sleep?
No, I'm very interlinked with that psychosis article, you know? It speaks to me.
We'll get there, don't worry. We'll get there. The network has been up for sale for a while after previous owner ReedPop decided it didn't want to run it anymore. Okay.
Yep, sure.
Alright, yeah, sure. We'll go with that. That's why a number of senior staff have left the various sites over the last few months, but many others have lost their jobs today. Remind me I need to come back up this page at some point to mention something.
Okay.
The Gamer Network includes Eurogamer with 6 different language versions, Rock Paper Shotgun, VG247.
That's now 3 different ways you pronounce this name.
Yep, I'm gonna just fuck with it the entire time. GameIndustry.biz and Dicebreaker. It also owns shares in Hookshot, which runs Nintendo Life, Push Square, Pure Xbox, and Time Extension outside Xbox and Digital Foundry. That means the IGN won't own Digital Foundry outright, but will presumably still run their content via Eurogamer. VGC is also contracted as part of Gamer Network, but is privately owned and not part of the sale. The thing is, go away. I hate pop-up ads. The thing is about this that's kind of doing my head in is it's already a struggle to get information on games that isn't biased to fuck. And now we've got all this on top of that where they're buying more. No one trusts IGN as it is. So putting other companies underneath their fucking umbrella, that's not a good idea.
What I'm finding crazy is how you got these huge companies buying studios and then just instantly laying off hundreds of employees.
Oh yeah.
It's like, well, then you didn't really buy them then, did you? Because you just got rid of half of them, so you only bought half them.
Yeah. It's like the Hi-Fi Rush developers, Tango Gameworks that we were discussing last week, and what happened with them. Gamer Network was a family business up until 2018 when they were sold to ReedPop. As many predicted at the time, ReedPop was only interested in live events like EGX and MCM, and recently announced that the website business was up for sale. Apart from GameIndustry.biz, most of the sites don't include any mention of the acquisition at the time of writing, but reports are currently emerging of instant layoffs including GameIndustry.biz, managing editor Brendan Sinclair, and Rock Paper Shotgun deputy editor Alice Bell. It's currently unclear how much IGN paid for the sites, or exactly how many people will be laid off as a result of the acquisition. All of this is sadly a familiar tale across the games industry at the moment, with this new radically changing the media landscape in the UK for video games, with now only a handful of dedicated sites remaining outside of the control of American companies. That's kind of what's doing my head in. It's insanity because we're slowly losing more and more bloody gaming news providers that we can trust. We already can't trust the mainstream media. What chance do we have when this gets all taken over?
The mainstream media.
Exactly. It's absolute insanity, though. It truly is. So, there's a reason I'm having to pull this one up. There was rumours going round that Microsoft may try and buy Valve and Counter-Strike for £12 billion. Unsurprisingly, that's not happening. Um, Valve would probably just laugh at them, to be brutally honest, because they make so much money at this point. Yeah, it's not as much as Microsoft, but they're basically printing money, so they'll forever have that income until they lose it, however long that may be. But they've been doing it for like a good 20 years at this point.
Yeah, I think they're good,
Yeah, exactly. So what's the
especially the
point?
amount of money that they're going to be intaking from CS2 alone
Yeah,
for people constantly trading.
exactly. Exactly that. So this rumor kicked up, and there was no proof or reliable source behind any of the rumors, but they spread like fucking wildfire. It was insanity on Twitter, all kicking up. It was funny though, I do have to admit. DLCS, who claims to have 6 years in law school and 7 years in finance, started the rumor when they tweeted, with approximately $80 billion CCE, cash and cash equivalents, Microsoft is preparing an offer of $16 billion for Valve, no stock, all cash. Oh, look, it's got readers added content. Well, last year there was no discussion about a buyout. In 2020, nothing has come of it. Sorry, there was a discussion. No credible evidence / publications have come out with this year either about Microsoft wanting to attempt to buy Valve either. Now, I think there's a big reason for this. Valve and Microsoft don't see each other as competition or adversaries or anything. They see each other as as partners working together to progress. I mean, Xbox are publishing all their games on PC. 9 out of 10 games are on Steam, not just on the Xbox store, which is a good way of doing it.
Yeah, just have it available on more platforms.
Yeah, because to be honest, as you've said yourself, you do not really like Xbox Game Store.
Oh, I fucking despise it.
Yeah, but in comparison, you'd be more likely to buy an Xbox game that came out on Steam.
Oh yeah, I would at least see it,
Exactly
and
that.
that's the first step to getting your customer to buy something. To
Yeah.
actually seeing it,
No, exactly.
it helps.
It definitely does. But that's the big thing. And it came out last year. They were saying, yeah, we might like to buy them, but would Steam accept that? No. And would that damage their partnership? Most likely. And at the moment, they are working very well together to be able to progress. So why would you damage such a connection that you've got? Considering Valve made £800 million from selling loot boxes in Counter-Strike 2 last year,
Oh.
£12 billion sounds like a very low offer for not just Counter-Strike 2, but everything, the entire storefront of Steam and everything Valve earns. Yeah. Also, Microsoft struggled to get the Activision deal through because UK and US monopoly investigators tried to block the acquisition, so there's almost 0% chance that they will get the deal to go through, even if Microsoft wanted to try it. I'd have to
Where's that
agree with
sounded
that.
familiar before?
Yeah, I would have to agree with that though. Plus, I can't see Gabe wanting to sell. He has been pushing so much when it comes to like development of new technology so that he can make the games he really wants to see in existence.
Look at the guy, man. Does he look like he's fucking pushing?
Yeah, he gives zero fucks.
Bro is beyond chilled.
Do you know what that photo is actually from?
Hmm.
It's from a advert that they did for Dota 2 where they got the voice actor of Cave Johnson to do some voice lines for Dota 2 announcements. And it was a pack that you could buy for like a fiver. And
Of course.
basically, they'd locked him in a warehouse. Everyone had like been forgotten. And then they called up Gabe and he just went, yeah, it doesn't sound familiar. Bye. Just continue playing on his Steam Deck. So, this is kind of what has come out of it, though. No one has given any type of explanation on how that. Oh, here it is, sorry. Even if that rumor of Microsoft buying Steam has any legs, UK regulators aren't going to let that happen. No way. More likely, a partnership would expand Microsoft's multiplayer approach. Wouldn't be surprised to see Steam on the next Xbox. 100% Steam is on the next Xbox. This guy is well known to be a pretty decent and reliable inside Xbox source. I'm doubtful. It'd be cool, don't get me wrong.
It does sound unrealistic.
Yeah, that's the issue. Especially considering a lot of games on Steam are literally keyboard mouse only sort of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot
Now,
of games that get released now that have controller support,
yeah.
but that's you still kind of got to play them on PC because the odds of a console handling it.
Well, this is what I'm thinking. What if they got it running on the Steam Deck operating system?
I
Because the
mean, it's
Steam Deck,
possible, but that would then mean Valve giving Microsoft their tech.
well, the Steam Deck operating system is actually open source, meaning anyone
Uh,
can access it. So
I
realistically, it
mean,
is doable as long as they pay
yeah,
Valve XYZ.
yeah, it's theoretically possible. Yeah,
And because it just run on a controller, and you can plug keyboard and mouse into an Xbox or PlayStation, it is completely doable to play games with.
don't you get like latency though?
Depends if you plug wire or wireless.
No, it's in like intentionally added latency so as you don't have an advantage over console players or controller players.
I think they just stick you into a keyboard and mouse lobby.
Hmm. At that point, just get a PC, man.
Yeah, I fully agree. No one has given any type of explanation on how that would make Microsoft any money. Steam is $20 cheaper Steam games $20 cheaper than the ones on Xbox Store, and no pay to play multiplayer. They would lose out on third party sales, microtransactions, and online payments.
That still blows my mind that consoles make you pay to play online, dude.
That's the reason I moved away from them.
Just
Uh,
it's so stupid.
I still remember I was discussing this when I was back in school. So we're talking now like I was what, 16 at the time, so 9 years ago?
I mean, it would have been the PS4 coming out, and you're having to
Yeah,
pay to play on it.
yeah, exactly.
It
It's got to
started
be.
off free on the PS4, didn't it?
No, no, it didn't.
Did it not? I swear it did.
No, basically, you had the PS3, and just at the end of the PS3's life cycle, when they announced the PS4, they did announce that you'd have to pay to play online.
Crazy.
But I remember like 9, 10 years ago, something along those lines. I was in an argument with a friend of mine about this, and he went, "Why'd you move to PC from PlayStation?" I went, "Because you've got to pay to play online." He went, "Yeah, but so do you." It took me a full 3 minutes to understand he's referring to paying for the internet.
Yeah.
At which point I turned around and went, "Yeah, but you also have to pay for the internet before you pay to play online."
So
He couldn't
stupid.
comprehend that.
Ah, Sony fanboy, man.
He was and still is. What if there's some kind of cut? It's not without precedent. Look at Green Man Gaming. It's a fair argument because Green Man Gaming do take cuts dependent on situations. So, like certain sales, it's the same thing that Steam does, but I'm unsure how they go about it. That's a big if, and with that big if, it is irresponsible of you as a journalist to spread a rumor like that. Phil himself said they want Epic Game Store on Xbox. It's hardly a leap to think that they'd want Steam there too. If they're aligning the dev environment, I'll accept your apology when that comes to pass.
I mean, there's a fucking enormous difference between Steam and
Oh,
Epic
yeah.
Games.
Oh, massive.
Epic Games is a fucking pile of crap giving away free games somehow, some way.
Yeah. But I just thought that was an interesting one. And I think if it came to pass, it'd be intriguing to see what would happen. But that's about it. I can't see it going too far. I mean, it'd bring a lot more people towards the PC storefront and might bring a lot more people over to PC in general. And
You
it's not
sort of
like
got
they're
to
losing
wonder
out.
though, like, there's no way they can put the entire Steam onto console. Like, Epic Games is one thing because sure, you can add friends, you can chat to your friends, and you have a storefront. but Steam is so much more than that.
You know
Between
what?
the community and the workshop tabs alone,
Let's go through this actually. So I'm just gonna start off. We'll go to store.
the storefront and like the different ways to navigate through the store, sure. It's just adding
Yeah,
in a search engine essentially.
yeah, that's
But
not too difficult. But then you get
all
stuff.
the other stuff is just absurd. The whole community tab, there's no way they could get that on console.
What's this? I've never actually checked this out.
Experimental games?
Oh, these are the experiments that they're running. Basically, you can check them out, and they're adding like new designs and things, seeing what happens and seeing how it improves everything for them.
Don't think I've ever clicked on that tab. Don't think I.
It's not too bad. So then you can go to community tab. It really shows what games I've been playing lately. Go to Tsushima. Let's go to new screenshots this week. Just general of what's going on there. By the way, that game is fucking stunning. It really is. This is how I feel that entire game, by the way.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
fuck you, Mongolians. Then you get your profile page, which you can kind of see the shit I've put here over the years. I still don't remember who that person is. I'm trying to remember who people are as time goes on, and it's not going very well. Then, obviously, you've got a lot more to it than just this. I can't open up my friends, really, without, like, doxing a bunch of people I know. So, I'm not going to do that, but there's a lot more options. Actually, let me try something.
Another thing on top of having Steam on though is like look at the likes of your library and how many
There
games
we
you
go.
have. How much are
So,
they going to charge for
yeah.
like bigger storage console systems?
So, I'm using you as an example here, Will. So,
Only use
you've
me
got
as
your
an
friends
example
library.
if blood and gore is involved. Thank you.
You've got a voice chat system, which, by the way, I've got to admit, has improved over the years, surprisingly. They also have a feature to find games to play together. And it works like this. It creates a dynamic collection, which I can now just save. And we have 70 games in common that we could play multiplayer.
Huh.
It is genuinely that easy to do. It's
Yeah.
a
I
cool feature.
can't see things being that easy on console.
No. Do you remember like the old days where you'd have to go to SteamDB, you'd have to fuck about a bit, and then you'd create a wheel based off of that? Oh, that went well. But yeah, it was a lot harder back then to handle a lot of this stuff. Just trying to remember here. And what Will was just mentioning about like costs and everything of accounts, all that sort of stuff. If I go to Will knows me, I do this quite often. I'll check out my Steam account value, and at today's price, it's worth 9,423. That's including discounts. But this will kind of give a reasonable idea as to what I've bought, what I've done, everything about my account. What the hell would it take for Steam to go ahead and for Xbox for me to buy all those games? Would it be more? Would it be less? Would it be about the same?
And say for example, you were just able to link your Steam account. When you got the new Xbox, you could slap your Steam account on it.
Yeah.
How much money are you going to have to pay for that console to have a decent amount of storage to have a few of these games downloaded?
Plus, I've got a slight feeling I won't be able to have as much downloaded at once.
Probably not.
Yeah, see, all my drives are in the blue for a change.
Ah, really?
They're all
I'll
about the
change
same.
you.
The, don't read the fact that that's 5.45 terabyte. Just ignore that.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I think it's interesting to see, really. But anyways, why don't the people in charge of gaming like video games? It's a question we have asked many a time, to be honest. A reader is concerned that publisher executives have no interest in gaming's well-being and even worries about Neil Druckmann and Hideo Kojima. Why the fuck are you worrying about Hideo Kojima? That guy, if he releases a game, it's gonna do well. That's just the way it goes. He sees media in a way I don't think anyone else does. I mean, is it Quentin Tarantino? He turned around and called up the guy who played Daryl in The Walking Dead, Norman Reedus, and said, "You're about to get a call from a man called Hideo Kojima. When he calls you, it doesn't matter what he asks, just say yes." If Quentin
Norman
Tarantino
Reedus and
thinks
his
that,
amazing fetus.
yeah, but if Quentin Tarantino says that to a famous actor, you have to know what sort of, just like, how much respect Hideo Kojima has from his peers. With everything that's been happening in in the video games industry over the last year, I've seen a lot of people questioning whether those in charge know what they're doing. Is Phil Spencer a failure? Is Sony asleep at the wheel? How does the guy in charge of Ubisoft think calling Skull and Bones a quadruple A game is going to go down with ordinary gamers that know that's nonsense?
Man, they're really, really hitting all your soft points here, Roy.
They are. I think they're trying to butter me up.
Yeah.
Gaming is such an amazing hobby with so many incredible games that take dozens or hundreds of people to make. They're really buttering me up here. And yet, usually, all we hear from the execs is that don't are from the whether there. And yet, usually, all we hear from are the execs that don't care what business they're in. There we go. Was Bobby Kotick so desperate to stay at Activision for so long because of his love of gaming? Is whatever faceless bean counter is in charge of EA in the job because they want to push the boundaries of interactive art? I don't feel I need to answer that question, although I doubt it's very different in any other industry. After all, how many times do people complain about movies being ruined by meddling execs? That clearly happens all the time in games as well, but because gaming is so much more secretive, we never really get the details. Yeah, it's literally executives, CEOs sometime, and something I've started to notice, shareholders.
It is kind of
So
crazy how much is kept behind the scenes, though, that we just don't know about.
yeah, something I was going to mention this week, but I decided against it. The CEO of Arrowhead Games has stepped down, which was Helldivers 2 developer.
He's taking his money and he's running.
No, actually, he said he's taking on a different role to direct 100% of his focus to the gaming community.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, guy clearly has a lot of love for Helldivers too.
Oh, definitely.
And the community that shot up out of nowhere when that game was released and just how crazy it blew up. And then Sony absolutely fucking just
Destroyed it.
obliterating it and its reputation and half of the world that it can play in. You cannot blame him for wanting to focus on that.
Yeah. I mean, he stepped down as CEO and now wants to just do a job to improve what the game they made can do. And I cannot fault him. I really can't. It's something we're not going to go into this week because as sad as it is, it's also a bit of a growing time for him. And I want to give it like another week just to get everything out before we start discussing that one. Because I don't want to make any early comments on it. Sometimes I will, because I feel there's probably not going to be much more, or it's a ever evolving point. But with this situation, I do want to give it a bit of respect because I had a lot of respect for the CEO of it. He was a really down to earth person on Twitter. We could always see that. So, want to give it some fairness on that regard. We'll see how that pulls out. I'm sure at their interviews, these execs all pretend to enjoy video games, by which they mean they watch their nephew play Fortnite for 5 minutes once.
Ugh.
Yep, I agree. I can also believe that someone like Phil Spencer is more into it, while still treating his own financial situation as far more important. But in reality, none of them really care about games. None of them are willing to sacrifice anything of theirs to make better games or consoles. Which is why I had to mention the CEO of Arrowhead stepping down.
It's a typical like massive company situation though.
Yeah, that's the reason I had to mention it though, because he has sacrificed his role as CEO to try and make his game better.
Yeah.
You've got to respect it, really. It's not something that any of the higher ups would do, to be brutally honest with you. Compare that to the developers, the ones who actually make our games, and they sacrifice so much their time, low wages, and now the constant threat of being made redundant just to ensure a company makes a 96% profit instead of 95%. Developers work unpaid overtime. They give up time with their families. They exhaust themselves mentally. And all for what? To be sacked the second the game's finished, whether it was a hit or not. It's so fucking scummy. It really is.
They're really hitting their points here in this article. I gotta give them because that's sort of what we've been seeing. Even games that have blown up, we've still been seeing people getting laid off right after, and it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, you're spot on. I'm actually really surprised because typically readers' features, we've kind of pulled them apart. But this one is actually nailing a lot of points in accuracy. I do think I do have to disagree with it in one part, which is labeling all higher ups in the same manner, which is why once again I mentioned Arrowhead's CEO
There,
because
there will always be like one or
there
the
are
other
exceptions
between
to the
between
rule.
groups of people. You've either got majority of them are good or majority of them are bad, but there's always going to be a couple that are the opposite.
Yeah, you've always got exceptions to the rule. I've always found the head of Take Two particularly bad, as he gloats about how much GTA makes and insists to his investors that GTA 6 is going to be the best game ever, even though I'm sure he hasn't the first clue of what makes a video game good or not. All he knows is number go up, number go down on his financial spreadsheet. I can't even disagree with this. Like, this
I gotta be
guy,
honest, I'm so sick of GTA. It's
everyone is.
genuinely the most boring thing in the world to me. I kind of hope that it crashes and burns with six.
I can see why. I mean, I loved San Andreas.
It was great when they first came out,
Yeah,
and you could just be this dude running around just creating fucking chaos. And
yeah.
now it's just a pile of shit.
It's like I
It's like,
was.
what do you even do in that game anymore?
It's like I was saying to you earlier. I've been sat playing PS2 and PS3 games recently, and one of the game series I was playing was called The Godfather, based on the films. Now, the first one, for its time, I really enjoyed it. You literally had to go to gang held businesses and extort the rackets that were being ran there so that they pay you an income for protection. And then the sequel came out. First time I played the sequel, I fucking hated it. Going back to it now, the graphics are a lot better, the control scheme's nicer. I actually really enjoy it. It's really decent. I wish there was more like that because it kind of brings me back to the San Andreas days of GTA. That's how it feels. And that's kind of what I've been missing.
But the older GTA games were so much better. Like they were
Yeah,
actually fun, they were different as well.
exactly that.
And now it's just like it's been the same GTA game for what, over 10 years.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, and what are they possibly going to change in GTA 6? Isn't it meant to be like all the GTA maps in one?
Nah, it's not going to be.
No?
It's going back to Vice City.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
You and
like
me
I
sat
don't know.
and like pulled apart the trailer, if you remember.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. It was the first thing I remember when you mentioned GTA. Funny.
Yeah, it was. We see this absolute indifference to gaming itself in the way they've handled the current crisis. All the companies have been the same: lay off hundreds of people, cancel anything that's not a sequel, and instantly ditch the games that have served you so well up till now in favour of live service games, which have a 1 in 100 chance of being successful, if they're lucky.
Yeah, they all blow up
This.
for like a month or two and then just gone all
I
of a
just need
sudden.
to quickly check something. I need this person's name. Like, they are nailing these points. I really do have to give them credit.
There
But
you
you
go,
know what?
Trapsils
Ah,
at the
Trepsils.
bottom.
You have done better with this article so far than any games journalist I've reviewed in the past couple months. Fair play to you, and good luck, because bloody hell. We have 4 paragraphs. If you destroy it in them 4 paragraphs, I'm going to be highly disappointed. But you know what? I'm not even sure about some of the people that are supposed to be developers. That guy Herman Holst,
He
that
might
Herman
he
Holst
might ruin
guy,
it.
yeah, that's now joined in charge of PlayStation. The best game he's ever been involved with is Horizon Zero Dawn, and I bet he thinks that's God's gift to gaming. No, I agree. I agree with that. Or Neil Druckmann at Naughty Dog, who is promoted as this groundbreaking game creator, but the only good thing about his games are the graphics, and the story in terms of being a video game, they're very basic. The Last of Us is to gameplay what Doom is to storytelling, and that worries me. That someone with such an extreme bias is in such a position of influence. I completely agree so far.
This one.
Okay, you've got 2 paragraphs, mate. Okay, this is where I'm going to disagree.
Yeah.
Consider Hideo Kojima too. Why does his Twitter profile say 70% of my body is made in movies? If he likes movies so much, why is he making them instead of games? Why isn't he making them instead of games? Sorry. Why is it he prefers to turn games into the kind of entertainment he apparently prefers? Well, actually, there's a very simplistic reason for that. Hideo Kojima sees games as the next major form of entertainment and believes that so much more emotion and so much more can be pulled from a game and given to the person experiencing it. You feel a lot more when you're playing a game because you are responsible for decisions, for choices, and everything else. So you feel much more regarding that in comparison to when you're just watching a film. Yeah, you might feel a bit upset for a character, but that's kind of the most of it. It's a character. You know that, I know that, everyone does. Games are a bit more than just that. You feel personally responsible because of the time you've spent with that character, getting to know them. And it's a lot more than 1.5 hours watching a character go through some shit.
Yep. And a lot of the time, your view can sort of be ruined on the character of the film depending on who's playing them. Because it might
Yeah,
be an actor that you really like or really dislike and have views on the person rather than the character they're playing.
exactly that.
Whereas, like, you might agree with me here, Roy, but if Ryan Reynolds is playing someone,
Oh, yeah.
instantly attracted to the
Oh,
character.
yeah. 100%. Some of these people may be talented by everything that's supposed to mean, but they are not good figureheads for the games industry. And the kind of leaders I think having gaming's best interests at heart. The mess we're in at the moment kind of proves that. I'm sure it'll never change, but the bigger companies get as they buy up more and more developers, the more middlemen and upper managers they are, and the less control the actual creative people have of what they're making for us. I agree with that, but once again, you've mentioned Hideo Kojima. Hideo Kojima is influential for the games he makes, but he never really states, "Oh, this game's bad, this game's good," etc., etc. He had a fallout over with Konami over their sales strategy, so he created his own business to do what he wanted. I can't fault him. So yeah, you kind of destroyed yourself a little in the last two paragraphs, but overall, really good article. I absolutely agree with 90% of that. I think a lot of execs get way too much credit. Hideo Kojima, though, the reason I have so much respect for him, go and watch an interview with him and
I mean,
how he reacts.
let's be honest though, like a game comes from developers, and
Yeah.
that's it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they should be given all the credit. Anyone above them is just probably the publishers,
Yeah.
and that's because they have their name in the marketplace, so they can get the game published.
hmm No, I fully agree.
But all the content that we get is definitely from developers. There may be a couple like higher ups, such as Hideo Kojima himself, who are involved in them, but the rest of them probably are just sitting in a fancy office at the top of a tall building,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
that's
it's
it.
like I was watching something the other day, and it was to do with Gabe Newell and how he reacts to do games. And apparently, he actually will sit down and bring someone in a meeting and question them fully. And like, he'll get into a full debate with them on why they're doing something one way rather than another way. But then he can go to an interview the next day. Has actually happened. This was in the Half Life 2 development diary that someone made. It was basically for the 10-year anniversary or 20-year anniversary of Half Life, I think it were. And it actually said I explained something to him. He argued against it when this doesn't sound right. You should do it like this. But then the day after, he went to a meeting and went and explained exactly what that developer said to him the day before and defended their points to the journalists because he might not completely understand it. He might argue with some of the ideas, but he trusts his development team to properly bring that idea to fruition. And that is a good manager.
Yeah.
I cannot argue with that in
It's
the
great for
slightest.
him to like give them more ideas and stuff and like look at it a different way in case they should be doing it another way.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, they're the ones actually creating the game. And if they think what they're doing is the right way to do it, who's he to argue?
exactly. So, we'll get to your psychosis argument, shall we?
Yay!
Mind games.
I have
Hellblade
no
returns
idea
to
what
explore
this is. I just
psychosis.
like psychosis.
I played the first game. It wasn't actually bad. It was quite enjoyable. But it's all like you're playing in the mind of this one called Senua.
No.
And when you've got the headset, if you've got a headset on, you hear voices from all around you all the time.
Hmm.
Makes you feel like you're genuinely going insane. For some people, it's a bit too difficult to play. So there's a lot of like trigger warnings, but it was absolutely praised. The sequel recently released, but apparently it's only about 5 hours long,
Oof.
which is really disappointing considering how
That instantly made me
it's
think of Call of Duty.
yeah, it's been coming out for a long time. So what we're gonna quickly do, because I don't want to dig into it too much because I do want to sit down and play it because it is on Game Pass. So I'll probably play through the first and then play through the sequel at some point
If
this
it's
week.
only about 5 hours long, I really hope we're not looking at a £70 price tag.
Yeah, that's kind of £50.
Still not great.
No, still not great. But
You
let's
got
have a look
indie
at the
games that like
reviews, shall we?
with indie games that sit like £20 and sit and play them for 100 hours.
Yeah. So a lot of people are quite positive. We'll read the negatives as we typically do, and then we'll read a positive. You call this a game. The storytelling is too long, too many and boring. And battle system is not fun, too old, and very few. I recommend it to anyone considering buying this game. Absolutely do not buy it. I recommend that the development team should take this game and write it into a novel. The piece of shit.
I mean, from the very quick scroll down, you did that as the only on the front. Okay, there we go. There's another one.
I'm sorry I can't recommend this game. Do yourself a favor and play it for free on YouTube. There's no gameplay here. If you were a fan of the first Hellblade and were expecting something like that, this is very far from it. €50 for a 6 hour experience with zero replay value. The story is honestly confusing and not worth the price point. The only saving grace is the art, that's it. So basically, it's a very beautiful game, and from what I'm understanding, it's short. And one of the main arguments I did hear about it, it's like 3 hours of the game is just cinematics,
It does
which
sound a
really,
bit rough.
yeah, it puts it in a really bad way, doesn't it?
There for a game and not a film.
Yeah. Uh. Oh, how are you,
What have you done?
co-pilot?
Not sure if you're going to get an answer that you're looking
Yeah,
for.
I saw one on Twitter the other day. That's the only reason I'm searching.
I mean, if you're going to end up playing it yourself, maybe you can give us some more insight next week or whenever
Yeah,
you get round to it.
I mean, I'm sure I can. I'll pick it up. You know me, I usually sit down and play all sorts. So yeah, we can take a look at that. So we'll probably leave this bit here and we'll focus a bit further on that later down the line.
I mean, if it is the case, it's like mostly cinematics. It's great to have really nice cinematics in your game.
Yeah,
I still love every now and then when I go back and grind a bit at Diablo 3, I still love watching the intro to the new acts
yeah,
because honestly for being made in 2013, I still think they were way ahead of their time
I get that.
for how they created those little scenes. They still blow my mind.
No, I completely
And
understand that, to be fair.
it's really important to have something like that in your game, when you do go between like big parts in your story and you get like a nice little cinematic to watch of like gives you sort of a bit more info on what's gonna happen, what just happened.
I fully agree.
But you gotta have a limit.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely right on that one. There is a limitation on it. It
And from the
depends.
from the sounds of it, what those reviews are saying is like half that game is cinematics.
Yeah. I mean, it really depends on what kind of game you're making. Because there are some that is literally just cinematics. I mean, look at visual comics as a example, which is a type of game that's massive on Steam for some reason.
That's what they're meant to be.
Yeah, I think it's really dependent on what you've been advertising the game as, and I
Yeah.
think that's where they've gone wrong. Fallout 4 fans are begging Bethesda to stop releasing new updates. And you know what? I don't blame them because I'm a part of this.
Yeah. I think
Fallout 4,
some's been going crazy trying to play Fallout 4 because of it.
yeah, Fallout 4 fans have started desperately hoping that Bethesda doesn't release any more updates for the title following the release of the new graphics update that appears to have broken mods yet again and left previously reported unfixed.
Jeez.
Fallout 4 is experiencing a rather astonishing second wind thanks to the popularity of the recently released TV show, and Bethesda has attempted to capitalize on the game's newfound player base with a couple of graphical updates that are meant to improve the title considerably. While that may be the case for console users, PC players are starting to get frustrated with Bethesda following two lackluster updates that have done more harm than good. Hope this is the last time Bethesda Game Softworks update Fallout 4. Bethesda Game Softworks. Fair enough. PC players expressed their disappointment with the game's initial next-gen update on PC, but disappointment has now turned to anger as the new graphics update appears to have once again broken mods, left glaring issues unfixed, and generally upset the game's vibrant modding community that's worked to get Fallout 4 into an acceptable state ever since it released back in 2016. I completely agree with that, to be honest. Uh, the modding community is what saw a lot of Bethesda games out. It doesn't matter what anyone really says, that is the truth of it on PC. Because a lot of Bethesda games come out and they're playable,
But
but
they're in shambles.
yeah, and they need a lot of fixes.
Yeah, I don't know if you realize whenever the first update came out, you could look through the DLCs and actually see the graphics update there in
Yeah,
your DLC list, but it was grayed out.
I mean, I went on yesterday, sorry, and it said in my add-ons, it went unavailable graphics update. So,
Yeah.
excuse me, what? Fallout 4 fans want Bethesda to stop releasing updates. On
I
Twitter,
knew
Reddit,
I knew they
and
were wrong. It was 2015, not 2016, bastards.
Fallout 4's Steam forums, you'll find more than a few irritated people pleading with Bethesda to stop releasing updates, some of them more diplomatic than others. You have people like Twitter user PC Nation using the platform to get a dig at Bethesda, while you can also find people replying to Bethesda's official update announcement tweets annoyed that they're about to break all the mods again. Oh great, I was hoping you'd break all my mods again. Yeah, fair play. Fallout 4's Steam forums are also filled to the brim with people still experiencing issues with the game following today's update, including a user called Serena, who simply titled their post "Stop updating the game." If that doesn't get across where PC Fallout 4 players are at the moment, then I don't think anything else will. I agree with that. So, we have something that I want to discuss. It's the final thing for this episode. And it's more out of annoyance more than anything. And we'll probably know exactly where I'm heading here.
Yeah.
So this is our most recent video. And usually I don't like to mention this too much, but there's a reason behind why I'm bringing it up. So we received a comment in last week's episode, um, reading the following. Just two dumb bitches with skull avies telling each other exactly. Now, I was trying to figure out, well, one, what the fucking Avi was. Turns out it means avatar.
Oh, you don't know that?
No,
That
no.
for some reason that's a younger person.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I don't know
realised.
why they started calling avatars avies,
Yeah,
but it is one
it's
of the grossest things I've heard in my life.
same. I had to Google it to figure it out. Just to understand, I am technically part of Gen Z, as is Will, and yet we have no fucking clue. But Skull Avies,
Hey,
okay.
we were born before 2000, so that's what I'm thankful for.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have a skull avatar. I do. You don't.
Mhm. I mean, my avatar has a skull, last I checked.
I should hope so. But even in our logo, there's no skull avatar. It's just me. But we'll move back. Exactly. Yeah, we say that a lot. That's just the truth of it. We do. But the part that I more am annoyed about is what I have to reply to with this, because I try and be diplomatic where I can be. I did actually leave another comment, but I thought after a couple hours I read it back and went, you know what? No, I'll remove that. It doesn't feel right putting. I never got a reply from them, as you can see. So I replied with, so what did we say that's incorrect? If we have done something wrong or a differing opinion to you, please express it. We can all play the insulting game, and trust me, we would do it much better than you. I think that's just correct, because to be honest, I
I
went on
mean,
his YouTube.
we get constant practice where we just sit and slag each other
Yeah,
continuously. So,
but I mean, come on. You're playing bloody
punt.
Minecraft on PlayStation, and you're expecting to be able to say anything. Okay. And that was 2 months ago. Okay. Well done, kid.
Also, have like it's I don't know. I don't know.
I have no idea myself. But instead of that pointless waste of both your time and our own, why don't you try expressing your thoughts and opinions to add discussion to the mix? As I said, I don't like commenting on a lot of these sort of things, so I'm typically either quite sarcastic or I'll just be relatively argumentative. Not to an extreme extent, but I
He
don't
does
like
enjoy it
hand.
though.
I do like arguing, but I didn't want to be too bad about the entire situation because, as I said, they seem to be quite young. Now, you want to go around insulting people, that's all fine and dandy. I genuinely could not care. We will most likely outdo you on it. You will most likely get upset regarding it. We don't want that. You probably don't want to start crying to your parents because you insulted the wrong people on the internet. I don't recommend it. It's really not recommended. Especially not when from the era when me and Will were from, when games where you would find someone who suddenly found your address online in about 7 seconds, and you're like, "Well, shit, I'm dead." So things are different now, but still, the general premise is don't be a tosser. It's just not a good look.
Yeah, if you have something to say and it's not exactly positive, feel free to say it. But like, there's no reason to be a dick about it. Simply put.
Yeah, we have always
Yeah.
stood by the idea. If you have some constructive criticism, please tell us. We
At
want
the
to
at the end
improve.
of the day, we are just two idiots sitting here talking shit. We know that.
Yeah, we have expressed that multiple times. We're all for any improvements, any ideas that people can give us, but
At the
we're
same
not.
time, there's no need to start like pointless arguments, stupid wars.
Yeah. Now, whether we'll be dicks back is a completely different thing. We're
Oh,
well known for
you
that.
can count on it.
Yeah, we're very well known for that. So that's the only warning I'm giving out.
We don't just roll over. You wanna talk big. You're gonna yeah.
You need to back that shit up.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that's everything for this week. Unless you have anything you'd like to add, Will?
Um, there is that demo that we are looking into. We might
Yeah,
end up streaming that depending on like how long it might end up being.
yeah,
Maybe
we
we can get
found
a couple
a.
things lined up.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea because we found this demo randomly last night. I was scrolling through TikTok and it's called Chasmal Fear, something like that. Chasmal Fear. And it looks weird and interesting, so I thought, why the fuck not? I'll send that to Will and suddenly receive a message back. So, we playing or what? I was laid in bed. So,
Amazing. Okay.
but I mean, it's a two-player co-op or three-player co-op, one of the two, and
I'm
it seems
fairly certain
interesting.
it's two. I
Uh,
don't think three. Three would just make no sense. I'm
yeah, true.
certain it's only two. It's just the way they've worded it.
Yeah, but I mean, it seems like it'll be a good laugh for us, and we'll probably get a few other games like set up that we might try out. Because there's a lot of demos coming out recently, and we're always looking into things where there's new co-op games or new VR co-op games or whatever. I mean, we've still got climbing that we need to try and fucking get through some levels on. Our arms were killing after that.
You're telling me.
Ugh. But
Not this week, but next week I'm off for the whole week. So
next week, do.
starting the third.
Okay, okay, okay,
Pretty sure
okay.
you'll probably be off that day, by the way, because I'm pretty sure I called it.
No, tomorrow's my bank holiday.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's why I told you I was off 27th. But with all that, then, let's end that episode there.
Sounds good to me.
So, thank you all for watching, as always. If you have enjoyed, feel free to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember
Like
the
it 69
Discord.
times.
Yeah, and remember the Discord is in the description. So if anyone does want to come, discuss things, debate, argue, join. That's all I'll say. Just
Literally
join.
anything goes.
Yeah, just join. We will argue, we will debate, we will discuss, and we will talk shit. We are happy to do so.
Just the one rule is you can't get upset.
Yeah, if you get upset, just don't.
Just leave.
Yeah, it's not good for you. Trust me. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and we will see you all next time. Bye for now, guys.
Have a good one. See you again.